Jeffrey Epstein's alleged Madam GHISLAINE Maxwell has been arrested by the FBI as the Epstein case reopens and returns to court. In this video, we're going to take a look at precisely why so many of our corrupt political class members are sweating today, as the evidence against them that was successfully sealed because of Jeffrey Epstein's untimely death is now about to come out into the open in a court of law. We may indeed be seeing the biggest political earthquake to shock our corrupt political class imaginable. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all around the world. Dr. Steve here. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time here with us at this channel, and you're looking for some daily encouragement and optimism in the midst of all the nonsense that's spewed from our Marxist media, you have found your oasis here. We analyze current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present light of even better things to come. We help you to think better so you can feel better. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, where each and every day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Also, we have a major announcement. Stop the press right now. I promised you a couple of weeks back that we had an awesome announcement, and here it is. We are excited to announce the launch of our brand new Turley Talks podcast. Now, this is in response to the frequent requests that we've gotten from you that especially you podcast listeners, that you wanted these videos in podcast form, and now you've got it. Your wish is our command. Now, you can listen anywhere you want at any time with our special podcast editions. And we got a super awesome giveaway to celebrate the launch of the podcast. If you click on the link below and download your new podcast by July 8th, you'll be entered to win one of my book bundles, and you get a free Turley Talks Insiders Club membership for an entire year. So do not wait, okay? Click on that link below, enjoy our brand new podcast specials, and enter in for our free giveaways today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. We got some breaking news. The ghost of Jeffrey Epstein is back. GHISLAINE Maxwell, the confidant of Epstein's and alleged madam who helped arrange Epstein's sexual abuse of underage girls, has indeed been arrested by the FBI. Now, this is a stunning development. Maxwell went into hiding after Epstein's arrest last year. She was reported to have been hiding out in Paris. Some reports were in Brazil. Some reports were that she was still in the United States. And, well, after a year, the FBI tracked her down in New Hampshire, reportedly in an upscale town of Bedford. It's being reported that Maxwell is being charged with 6 counts total: the conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. She's being charged with enticement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 2 counts of perjury. Now, gang, this is gigantic. And it's gigantic because it reopens the entire Jeffrey Epstein case all over again in a court of law. Now, up until this point, all the evidence, all the supposed, CDs, the videos, all the documentation detailing who, what, when, and where for some of the most prominent leftist liberals and Democrats have been locked away because of Epstein's death. Any hope of them being brought out and exposed in a court of law was lost. And as long as GHISLAINE Maxwell remained at large, the evidence would continue to be hidden. Now that's all over. That's why this arrest is so huge. And by the way, more arrests are reported to be coming. Now, if you don't know, before his untimely death, his ever so convenient death, Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire hedge fund manager who hobnobbed with all the who's who of the globalist liberal elite. So we're talking presidents, prime ministers, princes, Hollywood elite, you name it. He was a major left-wing Democrat donor, and as it turns out, he was a major blackmailer who held many of the most prominent members of our corrupt political class hostage with incriminating photo, which he thought rendered him immune from his exploits of sexually assaulting underage girls. That all changed. That began to unravel about 10 years ago, actually 15 years ago, back in 2005. The Palm Beach police were informed by a mother of a young girl in West Palm Beach that her daughter had been brought to Epstein's mansion and propositioned to have sex for money. So this ended up kicking off an extensive 1-year undercover investigation there in Florida. And in the process, police ended up interviewing 17 witnesses who saw all sorts of sex toys and paraphernalia in Epstein's mansion after underage girls had been there. There was a young woman who admitted that she was paid $200 for every teenage girl she successfully brought to Epstein. Investigators tracked down 5 of his victims, each of whom admitted that they were paid between $200 and $300 to engage in various sex acts with him. When police raided his mansion, they found tons of sexually explicit photographs of teenage girls and the like. However, when the police chief presented all of this evidence to Palm Beach County's Democrat prosecutor, Barry Krischer, he actually turned around, this Democrat prosecutor, he turned around, charged Epstein with 1 count of soliciting prostitution since he paid for the sex. So this Democrat prosecutor actually ended up rendering Epstein's child sexual assault victims as de facto prostitutes. And in turn, he offered Epstein probation. So as a result, the police chief blew up. He flipped out. He was not going to have any of this. So he turned to the federal government, to the George W. Bush administration at the time, to seek justice against this obvious case of child rape. And that's when the story about a major Democrat billionaire donor being protected by a Democratic county prosecutor started making the news. Well, kind of. You see, it was picked up by the British press. It was picked up by the Florida media. It was picked up by Fox News. But CNN, MSNBC, they did not breathe a word about it. They did not elicit so much as a peep about a Democratic prosecutor refusing to charge a billionaire Democratic donor in multiple counts of child rape. Now, as a result of the federal investigation, which was led by Republicans, Epstein had to plead guilty to 2 state felony charges, which got him 2 years in prison. Again, after all of that, not a single whimper from MSNBC or CNN. And to make matters even worse, Democratic county prison officials placed Epstein in a private wing of the county jail and allowed him to spend 12 hours a day, 6 days a week at his mansion throughout his entire sentence. However, in 2014, conservative lawyers brought suit against the federal prosecutors for violating a Victims' Rights Act in the whole Epstein case. And this is when the testimonies of the various underage victims reported that some of the guests at a Caribbean island that Epstein owns, what's called the Orgy Island, some of the guests were none other than former President Bill Clinton and Harvard professor of law Alan Dershowitz, even Prince Andrew, Prime Minister Ehud Barak. That's when all of that broke. And CNN, of course, had to cover it. And they did. They featured the various celebrities that had allegedly visited the island, but not once did they mention Bill Clinton by name. MSNBC did the same thing. They devoted one show to the scandal, but they omitted any mention of Bill Clinton being involved in this. And all of this then eventually led to Epstein's arrest in July 2019 in his mansions, in his Manhattan townhouse, and the island. They were all searched, and all the evidence gathered. And the trial promised to be perhaps the biggest political sex scandal explosion in history. And it was during this time that they found the CDs and videos of the famous people involved with the girls. They were all labeled, right? So the CDs were reported to have been labeled with the name of the famous person involved, the dates it happened, and the girls he was with. And it looked like this was going to just shake our corrupt political class to the core. And then, of course, Epstein conveniently demised. He got himself perished. And all of it, all the evidence got locked up. And locked up in the Southern District Attorney of New York's office. And now with the arrest of the alleged madam behind all this, GHISLAINE Maxwell, Epstein's confidant here, now all bets are off. Now this case officially reopens. All the evidence that got locked up with Epstein's death is now about to be reopened in a court of law. That's what's so astonishing here. with this arrest. And this may indeed blow the roof off of our corrupt political class. This is absolutely huge. All I know is there had better be a 24/7 video watch on Maxwell, because there are a whole lot of powerful people that don't want her talking. So we'll most certainly be keeping our eyes on how things develop here, but it is an astonishing development indeed. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on the utter humiliation of the ultra-liberal Seattle mayor as the Chaz autonomous zone, the Marxist utopia, gets dismantled. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.